What up, athletes? All right, so welcome to the team test. This is the last new thing, right? Or it's not even new, it's just the last review we have before the final. So we're nearing the end of the year. This is exciting. Congratulations on hanging in there with me through all this craziness. So I'm super proud of you guys. So what is today's learning target? You will be prepared to crush this test. Put it on your feet and stomp it. All right. So I'm just going to start right into this. Use the quadratic formula to solve for x. So again, what you should do to do this properly is attempt every question and then hit play after this. So pause now, come back, attempt every question, and boom, there you go. I will actually, on my end, be pausing it so you can wait, I guess, a few seconds, you know what I mean, until I finish, and then I'll warn you before I put the work back on there. So here we go. All right. Make sure you identify your A, B, and C, right? I recommend calculator usage. What I'm showing you on here is the minimum amount of work I want to see to receive full credit for shown work. So just keep that in mind. I have a different pen, but oh well, this is what I got right now. Remember it? X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. It's early in the morning, I can get deep, right? Negative b. Make sure you use parentheses too so you don't combine negatives on accident. Perfect. Awesome. Which is going to be equals. Good stuff here. Show those steps. You can use a calculator. I use one a lot, especially for problems like this. All right, now it's time to pause if you want to keep going, but here we go. Okay, so let me get this into full view for you. Just shrink it a tad. Okay, you'll notice here my A is 3, my B is negative 25, my C is 13. This is what I mean. Put it in parentheses because if you don't, you may accidentally think that negative is that negative, but it's not. It's negative B, and my B is negative 25, so it should be negative 25, which is how it turns out positive. Now, what I do right here is I go ahead and I square it to get the 625. It's one negative, so I know it's going to be minus 4 times 3 times 13 is 156. I subtract that to get 469, which I write above here. And then I just go ahead and square root that so I can go straight to, hey, let's split it up to 25 plus, right, and 25 minus because there's both a plus and a minus answer to every square root problem. And we get approximately 7.78 and 0.56. Okay. So, let's go ahead and do the next one. Again, I'll pause it. Start working on it. Identify your A, B, and C. Good times. All right, I'm done. So if you need more time, feel free. Other than that, go ahead and let's look at this. Let me move it over a tad. There's something to keep note of, guys. What happens when we plug it in? We only have one negative, so it's going to be minus. So whenever your A and C are positive, there is a chance that this may not be factorable, especially if they're bigger than B. Then it's not going to happen, because when I square B, I only get 4, but when I multiply 4 times A times C, I get 448. That's going to make it negative. We can't take the square root of a negative, therefore no solution or not factorable. Okay? Awesome. Let's keep moving on up to the east side. We're going to use generic rectangles and the ZPP to find the x-intercepts. Now notice I said x-intercepts. If I say x-intercepts, that means it needs to be in the form of x comma 0, right? Because y is always 0 at an x-intercept, and we just have to solve for the x values. So keep that in mind. All right? You know the drill. I'm going to pause it. Let's do this. Remember, first and last term in the diagonals, middle term down low, multiply to get up top. The only way we have a negative down low and a positive up top is if two negatives multiply together. Think about that. All right. Pause if you need more time. Here we go. Boom. Right? Put my x squared up here, my 10 down here, my negative 7x down below. Multiply these to get the top, which is 10x squared. And the only way I can make negative 7x and positive 10, again, these both have to be negative. Negative 2 times negative 5 is positive 10. And negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7. So see how that works there? Plug those in, pull them out. Once we get to here, that should be equal 0. Remember, you can either show your work by adding 5 to both sides or just realize, hey, it's going to be opposite of this, right? So 2 and 5, but I'm not done because it said it wanted x-intercepts. My x-intercepts are 2, 0, and 5, 0. All right, let's go ahead and do B. Go ahead and drag it over. Let's roll. Awesome. Sorry, I got lost in the math. Again, I'm going to pause it. Pause it for yourself if you need some extra time. Here we go. Okay. So, again, first and last term, middle term. Multiply the first and last to get the top term. Our factors are negative 7x and 3x. Those multiply to be negative 21x squared and add to be negative 4x. When we get down to x plus 3 times x minus 7 equals 0, again, it's just opposites, right? So negative 3 plus 3 would make this 0, and positive 7 minus 7 would make this one 0. All right. Good practice there. Let's move on to the next. And find the equation of the line. Use y equals mx plus b. So in other words, we need to put this in y equals mx plus b form. Use triple substitution. Let me walk you through the first one. So again, we're given our slope, right? So if I'm looking at y equals mx plus b, I already know what my m is. But I also have a point which gives me an x and a y because we got to solve for b. So let's plug it in. I'm going to have 9 equals 2 for my slope times my 6 for x plus b, which that's 12. 9 equals 12 plus b, minus 12 over, and we get negative 3 equals b. Now, because I'm not going to pause it for a little while, I need to walk you guys through this stuff, make sure we have it solid. What does that mean? I have my b and I have my m. Remember, these are the two letters I need to fill in to make a general equation for this line. So it's going to be y equals 2x minus 3. Boom. I know it's not a plus, it's because this is a minus, so that changes that. This next one, let's go ahead and walk through. How do we find slope? If you want to try it yourself, pause it now. Otherwise, I'm just going to show you. So again, my m equals a y2 minus y1. So that's going to be negative 2. Careful with this. Minus what? Negative 3. See how I put it in parentheses so I don't combine those on accident? All over, point it back, 4 minus 2. Now these two negatives will make a positive. Negative 2 plus 3 equals 1. 4 minus 2 is 2. So I have a slope of 1/2. Now let's pick a point. And again, if you just want to watch to this point and try the rest on your own, go ahead and pause this, but I'm still going to show you. What do? We have our slope, pick a point. You can pick either point. They will both get you a correct answer if you do it correctly. But I'm going to pick the point, so 4 to negative 3. This is my x, this is my y, so what I'm going to have? I'm going to have y, which is negative 3, equals m, which is 1/2, times my x, which is 2, plus b. Now, I wrote this 2 kind of small and up. It's because we can always write it as over 1, right? Those 2's cancel out, and I'm just left with 1. I have negative 3 equals 1 plus b. Subtract 1 over. What do I have? Negative 4 equals b. I have my slope. I have my b. Let's write a general equation. Y equals 1/2 x minus 4. Boosh, right there. Look at that. Good work. All right, let's go on to the next. I got a few graphing problems here. Let's center this up top. Now this one is meant to be fairly simple, guys, but I want to recommend, so first of all, remember I'm looking to see that you're doing the graph properly, not just correctly. So I'm just going to kind of highlight my x and y axis so we're not confused. I tried to give better grids because the ones I gave a while back, everybody's like, why is that 0 looking all weird? And I was like, I don't know, it just is. It's y, maybe rewrite your x and y there. Label the 5s. 5, 10, 5, 10, negative 5, negative 10, negative 5, negative 10. And you know what, while we're here, guys, let's just do the rest of these graphs. We got 3 more. Go ahead and just label all these graphs, do the same exact thing, so we can just get right on through when we're done. I like doing this. I have no idea why I like doing this, but it just feels nice to make a nice graph. All that good stuff in there. I don't know. I have some parts of OCD that hit me on stuff, so here it is coming out, right? Are there any peeps out there that there's certain parts of math that just hits that OCD vibe for you? Oh man, can you guys believe we're studying for the last module test of the year? It's just crazy to think that we have come this far. This year seems to have moved a lot quicker than last year. That is faux show. Okay, so I've got them all done. See, I just got them all labeled out there. Yep. And this is not meant to be hard, guys. If you know your linear, you'll understand this is quite simple and quick. What am I going to do? So let's do the first one, A. It says start value of 2 and a negative 3/2 slope. What does that mean? Remember, you always go to the right. It's rise over run, so just remember that. Rise over run. So in other words, it's my change in y over change in x. So my change in y is my vertical, right? This is vertical. This is horizontal. Okay? So my vertical change is negative 3, which means I go down from here. 1, 2, 3. And I always go to the right. So I'm going to go to the right 2. 1, 2. And I'm just going to do that a few times. 1, 2, 3 over 2. 3 over 2. I don't know if you guys, if you've watched me for any length of time, you know I like to do that. So get some solid points in there. Boom. Let's connect them. We're going to draw all the way through the graph. Last but not least, we need to label this graph. And keep in mind, I've been saying this in my classes, there are more ways to lose points than get them on these, so make sure you include all the steps. Plus 2. Boom. That's the first one. It's supposed to be that quick. The next one, let's look at it. Negative 5 start value. Up 2 over 3. Right? Because it's a 2/3 slope. Up 2 over 3. Up 2 over 3. Boom. Let's connect this. And since it's a shallow one like this, I can go ahead and just write right here, y equals 2/3 x minus 5. Notice the first one had a negative slope, went down from left to right. This one has a positive slope, it goes up from left to right. Okay? Then our last one is y equals x plus 2. So again, same starting point, but what does x mean? What's in front of that x? In front of that x is a 1. And that can be written as 1 over 1. So in other words, from this point of 2, I'm going to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, right? Just lots of little baby steps. And boom. Oh, don't wear out on my pen. Don't wear out. And again, this one is y equals x plus 2. So just a little, you notice just a little bit bigger of a slope than our 2/3 x minus 5. All right. Boom. That's how to work this out. We got 2 more problems to go. I know this is a kind of a longer video, but it's because I got to get you ready for these big questions for the test coming up. Okay. All right, let's do our last one here, or last couple actually, which are going to be kind of nice. So the first one here, what do we want to do with ourselves? Well, I like to always ask myself, what kind of shape is it going to have? What's the a value? Well, right in front of it is a 1. The x squared, that's the a value, that's positive, so we know the shape is going to open up. Boom, right there, we're already started. Then we go to our y-intercept. Remember our suggested steps? We know that that is always 0c. What's my c value? 10. And let's go ahead and go right from there to solving for our x-intercepts. So let's do generic rectangle and diamond. Or, hey, I've told you guys, you're more than welcome to do the quadratic formula. It'll work just the same. It's up to you, whichever one you prefer. I'm going to do this. So what do we got? Our x squared, 10, 7x, 10x squared, which is just 2x and 5x, right? You place those wherever you want. I'm going to pull out a 5x times 2 times x. We know that this is going to be x plus 2 times x plus 5 equals 0. And boom, where do we go from there? You can either subtract them over or just know that x is going to equal negative 2 and negative 5, which means my x-intercepts are negative 2, 0 and negative 5, 0. And let's go ahead and just graph what we know. So I have an x-intercept negative 2, 0, one at negative 5, 0. I have a y-intercept at 0, 10. So this is a fairly steep graph, right? And if I'm looking in between here, there's only 1, 2, 3. I know it's going to be right in the middle at, let's see, that's negative 2, negative 3.5. But we can also show that. So our line of symmetry is just our negative 2 plus negative 5 divided by 2, which negative 2, that's going to be a plus minus, which is a minus, and negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7 over 2, or like I said a second ago, negative 3.5. Boom. Right away, we know that is the x value of our vertex, right? See how it just flows one to the next? So negative 3.5. And what am I going to do from there? Plug that negative 3.5 into the equation. So I'm going to have y equals negative 3.5 squared plus 7 times 3.5. I'm going to break into this one over here, plus 10, oops, which is going to end up being 12.25 minus 24.5 plus 10. And what does that equal? Well, that is approximately, or not approximately, that just is negative 2.25. Okay? So now we know our vertex is negative 3.5, negative 2.25. Oh. So we're going to go negative 3.5 down, negative 1, 2, and we're going to estimate about 0.25 right there. Perfect. Don't forget to draw that line of symmetry through, because now I can go, hey, this is 1, 2, 3.5 away, so I'm going to go 0.5, 1, 2, 3, and put my other reflected point. So now, let's draw this. Oh, we're just doing this with solid lines. Boom. See how that works? Sweet. This next one, don't forget, it's ax squared plus bx plus c. This is clearly missing the bx, which I'm not too worried about unless you're doing the quadratic formula. But I do know, first of all, in front of the x squared is a 1. Again, that's positive, so I know my shape is going to open up. I know my y-intercept still, because it's 0c. And even though I'm missing bx, I still have my c, which is negative 9. Go ahead and graph that, negative 9. Boom. To find my x-intercepts is actually easier than normal, because if you recognize this, this is a difference in squares. What's the square root of x squared? It's x. Square root of 9 is 3. So this is going to end up being x plus 3 times x minus 3. You can use ZPP or quadratic formula, factor it out and prove that, but that's what it is with a shortcut. So I know that x is going to equal plus or minus 3, which means my intercepts are going to be at 0, negative 3, and 0, positive 3. See, 0, negative 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Boom. When this is the case, when your line of symmetry, I want you to look at this, what's the number in between? It's 0. Well, we already know what the value of y is at 0. It's the y-intercept. That is your vertex. This is your line of symmetry. So look at this. I'm just going to draw it straight like this. Boom. Whenever your y-intercept is the center, that becomes your vertex, right? So whenever you have a situation like this, where it's a difference in squares, that is always, the y-intercept is always going to be your vertex as well. So there we go. That is how to do this. Make sure you can do all these types of problems, and you will be ready for the test coming up. With that said, peace out.